Hi there, and welcome to the first ever edition of the Dugout Podcast. I'm Andrew, and joined as always, I'm alongside Marissa. And tonight, notice I said the first ever live Dugout Podcast because tonight we're breaking new frontier, and we had promised in our last episode that we're going to take a bit of a break. We were supposed to take a break, but because right now the West Indies cricket team is in dire straits, it has resulted in us breaking our vacation. I'm coming on here to talk about the capitulation, the disaster, the dare I say the embarrassment that is the West Indies cricket team in this World Cup qualifier.
Wow.
Because if missing out on the T20 World Cup last year wasn't bad enough, they have rewarded our dedication and our loyalty to following this team, this sport, by now seriously running the risk of not even taking part in the 50 over World Cup competition scheduled for October of this year. So Marissa has West Indies World Cup hopes hanging by a thread. You sure? Because
you are having too much fun with this.
From my perspective, they've already, been completely dashed. They're, is already been eviscerated. But you're Mrs. Positive and I'm Mr. Negative, I suppose. Yeah. So I'm gonna give you the floor first, since you're the cricket expert.
Nah, you ain't getting much positivity from me today at all. So I just want to take you back to July 22nd, 2022. That was the day our episode 5 of this podcast was posted on YouTube. And Marissa Chandler and Andrew Catwell both said, almost a year to the day, that it was very unlikely. No. That West Indies will not qualify for the 2023 World Cup. Fast forward to June 26, 2023, and we are on the cusp of being right. And that's not to say we take pleasure in this, because we absolutely do not. As y'all will see when we get into this discussion, we take absolutely no pleasure in this. But you know what? It shows that we still know what we're talking about, right? It still shows we know what we're talking about. And I don't even know where to start with this game, Andrew. Like, I got this morning early to watch the Women's Ashes. Not to watch the West Indies. I've never gotten up early to watch any of these matches. Mm-hmm. But the Women's Ashes was going towards a very interesting conclusion. I got that. And then I was like, oh yeah, West Indies playing. So I checked the score. I realized we were like 280 after like 42 overs. I saw Poran was nearing another century. So I tuned in as well. And I saw we put a 375. I said, okay, cool. That should be a winning total, no matter how good the pitch is.
You would think.
So I didn't watch. What is it?
I said you would think.
You would think, yeah. Silly me, right? Delusional, silly me. So what I did, I bought my day as usual, working and stuff. But I was falling on Cricket 4. So I see Netherlands dropping some licks in the ball. I was like, all right, it's just getting off to a good start. I come down to 30 overs to go. Netherlands still well in this. I was like, all right, West Indies, put it together. 20 overs to go. Netherlands. It was like, all right, wait. 10 overs to go. They needed what? Just over 100? I was like, nah, West Indies ain't serious. And I think at that point they had 2 well set batters. So I was like, So I decided, all right, let me tune in for the last bit of the game. So when I tuned in, a couple of wickets fell. I was like, all right, cool. This was around the last 5 overs of the game. Cool. I was reading all the commentary, so I know our fielding was poor again, dropped some catches again. We get into all of that. But then, the equation was 29 from 12. I was like, all right, 29 from 12. I think by then the century miracle was out. I think she'll pull this off, right? See my man, she hope Han Roston chased the ball. Carlos Brathwaite on commentary was like, Roster has been bowling well, but in these situations, you want your best death bowler. And he politely said, in his opinion, that's not Roston Chase. Roston Chase proceeded to concede 20 or 21 runs or something like that for the over. And Netherlands needed 9. At this point, right, I just sit it down. My face so screwed. I was like, West Indies ain't serious? Because at this point, Netherlands got the game in bag. Then the first over, Alzari last over went for 4. So it was 5 or 5. I was like, right, yeah. But then Alzari pulled it back brilliantly, I felt. Got 2 wickets. I felt the last wicket, which tied the game, was a bit lucky. It wasn't his greatest ball. Decent catch by Holder. But at this point, Andrew, I have a whole meltdown on Twitter because I'm like, West Indies come home. Because at the end of the day, if you cannot defend 375 against the Netherlands, with all due respect, they played well. We get all into that. Bring the Batsides home, because at the end of the day, Andrew, this is an associate team. We are a full member team, no matter what personnel. And by the way, Netherlands missing 8 players, right?
I saw that stat after the game.
8 of Netherlands' best players ain't playing county cricket. I don't understand this. So then came the super over. I thought I could have get more pissed, but I was wrong. My man Shea decided to hand the ball to Jason Holder. Everybody that knows cricket knows Jason Holder is not a death bowler. First ball, 4. Second ball, 6. Third ball, 4. Oh, the third ball was 6 too? Oh,
I can't remember the order, but it don't matter.
Right? The reason why I building up this, right, is because you stream, because you was messaging me. You stream went down during the super over. Correct. And it was messaging tell you, Andrew, 20 runs for the first 4 balls.
But what happened, right, was that I switched to cricket info after my stream went down and I couldn't get back up.
Right.
I switched to cricket info and I started following. And I was sitting in the staff from corner next to a colleague of mine. And I was like, and I was jumping out with like, hey. Continue, Marissa, continue.
Speechless.
It's not my turn yet.
The reason I built this up, right, is what had me dying is your stream went down and you went to Cricket Info. But my stream obviously stole on Cricket Info. So before the 5th ball bull, this man messaged me and talked about 26 for 5 deliveries. And at this point, I am about to explode. Because I was like, Jason Holder ain't serious. Then obviously last ball went for 4. 30 runs off the super over. You would think I couldn't get more pissed. I was wrong. I see Master Hope walking out to bat with Johnson Charles. Not Brandon King. Not Nicholas Pooran. Shea Hope and Johnson Charles. With all due respect, though, I found out during that super over that apparently Nicholas Pooran was off the field for a while and he couldn't bat or something because enough time wasn't allotted. But whatever. I need 30 runs off the last over. I love Shea Hope, our best batsman. But he's not who I would feel comfortable with 30 runs to get in the super over. And West Indies, they never get 10. They never get 9. 8 for 2. So that's what happened, folks, in the game. Andrew, I need time to settle myself again. So you could start unpicking the analysis.
No problem.
Because I can't. That whole summary just riled me up again, though.
No problem. I would try my best to, make sense of this shambles that we witnessed this afternoon.
Yeah, make it make sense.
Here's the thing. I can do a lot of things, but that I cannot do. So, all right. So, like you said, I saw that we made 374, and I was like, okay, that's a good score. We should be defendable, right? And I went to work. I completely forgot the game was playing. But as I was calculating promotion marks, I said, let me check the score. And I think they had like 10 overs left, and like you said, just over 100 runs to get. And I said, well, this is still a game because they may have 6 wickets in the shed. So I turned on from that point. So I basically watched the final 10 overs of the West Indies bowling effort. And it was horrible. It was horrid. It left me petrified. Like, Because no, seriously, half of the deliveries that they bowled on a batting wicket were short and wide out city off stump. A lot of full tosses, a lot of long hops. Whatever happened to bowling, you know, full and at the batsman's toes, give him no room to chance his arm. It was a lot of like half pitch deliveries that were dismissible, and Netherlands took full advantage. Yes, there were two well set batsmen. The one guy scored 100, but the worst thing about it is that even after those two set batsmen got out, it did not stop the bleeding. And what I found from the Netherlands, and again, sensible cricket, what they were doing as well, even before the boundaries started to flow, was that they were taking a lot of quick singles, a lot of quick twos
Running for
for
everything.
everything, and putting
Andrew,
up the rich under pressure.
I turn on and I see the men running to long on. And let the ball trickling to long on. The men running to long on. And I'm like, what on earth am I seeing?
Yeah,
And they did
and
this consistently.
consistently throughout the game, a lot of twos. Um, a lot of ones they turned into twos rather. Call it that. All right, our feeling is really bad. Johnson Charles drop a catch. I know it meant high, but come on. And all the, I'm not sure which commentator it was, but all he's saying is that is pressure. This is pressure. Well, I mean, you're at the highest level of the game, but there's going to be some pressure. I think we need to get better equipped with handling pressure moments. Coming to the death again. You bowled Ross and Chase. I wasn't going to do that again. That would not have been my first choice. And it's crazy because in our last ODI series or our last limited overs games that I would have seen, I can't remember Ross and Chase ever bowling towards the death. So I don't know why today we decided to go that route. That definitely put the game on in last over. Like you said, Alzari did quite well because 9 off of 6 is quite doable. To even get a tie over it. But the real calamity for me, Marissa, was what transpired after the game. The super overs. Seriously. Because Jason, all right, so you said that everyone knows he's not a death bowler. And I like Jason, right?
Yeah.
But I can be hard on him. Jason, for all of his height, has no real genuine pace. So I'm not bowling him there at the death. You know what I'm
You
saying? We're
go with
never
your fastest bowler who had just became the fastest wrestling to 100 wickets and who just bowled an excellent over to at least get you a tie. That's
but that's
what
what
you do.
but that's what got me to, because you gave the ball to Azari for the final over the 50 overs. Why you don't want to put the ball back in his hand? Is there a rule that says if a ball the last over, you can't bowl the super over? Because if that rule exists, someone please inform me. Because to my knowledge, that's not in existence. So you toss the ball back to Alzari, right? There's no other option. Back to Alzari, ask him to keep the total down, let's say underneath 13, 15, somewhere around there, and you try to then attack it from there. But okay, so shed some light on the fact that Poran apparently cannot bat. That's all good and dandy. Like you said, Hope is a good batsman, but I wouldn't call Hope a master blaster hitter. And if your target is 30 off of 6, you need hitters. You need shot makers. So that decision alone didn't make any sense. I saw Romero Shepherd come out after the first wicket. You know what I'm saying? Why he couldn't, or Brandon King or whoever. I'm not. Who else in your team are big hitters besides Romero Shepherd and
Well, it will be King as you rightfully
Brandon
called.
King, right?
And for me, I could understand Romari Shepherd to an extent because he get a first baller. But Brandon King made 76. Brandon
Right.
King is no mug with the bat. Why wasn't he walking out with Johnson Charles and taking first strike too?
But you want to hear
Like
the truth. You want to hear the truth. The game was already up from our bowling effort. That 30 runs. I know that we wasn't going to get 31 unless Netherlands come on board a lot of no balls and just bowl a periphery of junk. It was not going to happen for us. So
and they
sorry
weren't
for
gonna
being
do
negative
that.
tonight, but I was already like, oh, this is defeat. you know, and it's just remarkable.
For sure.
My goodness. Um, so where do we go from here? Actually, before we go from here, this is not the only catastrophe that happened in this qualifying round so far. We had the game against
Wait, wait,
Zimbabwe.
wait. I
What
don't
day
want to
was
get
that?
to Zimbabwe yet. I don't want
You
to get
don't?
to
Okay.
Zimbabwe yet. I don't want to get to Zimbabwe yet. There's some things I need to unpack about this game from a serious analytical perspective. When I was listening to the last few overs, one of the commentators was saying, Mercedes faced over 100 dot balls in their innings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Netherlands, by contrast, scored 100 singles and 33 twos. And that was at that point. So that's 166 runs from 133 balls, Andrew, without the boundaries. In contrast to our 100 plus dot balls. These are why we lose games like this. The Netherlands were playing like a side that understood once they take 2 points into the Super Sixes, they're in with a chance. That's how they were playing from the first ball that bowled. 70 odd after 10 overs and just continue the momentum from there. So, the usual people can come out and say, yeah, drop this body, sap this body, do this, do that, and throw it next. Regardless, those 11 players on that field today was enough and are good enough to have gotten us over the line. Plain and simple. I thought Shea Hope made some seriously bad tactical decisions in the game. I thought that after a while, when you see how the Netherlands were approaching the chase in terms of turning ones into twos and getting quick singles, bring the team together and have a conversation and say, look, man, tighten up. Let me cut off these twos. Let me cut off these singles. Let me build pressure. Nothing. I heard Carlos Barth. Carlos Barth is an excellent coordinator, by the way. I heard he said with 4 needed when he saw Sheho, Azari, I think Jason having a conference. He said plainly, this conference is a few balls too late. You don't have those sort of when the team are hit away from winning the game. We were
Look,
poor.
it should have
We were
happened earlier. It should have happened earlier when the win was becoming increasingly in jeopardy, right? What I would say about the point you made about the twos and ones, and I'm sorry for trying to rush along to the Zimbabwe game, but this game here, since you brought it up, I'll touch on it. It is again another snippet of evidence that our game has not evolved past the early incarnations of 2020 cricket. Because that not running or manipulating strike, it was in existence in the 50 over game before the creation of 2020. And
mm-hmm.
with the introduction of 2020, where teams have modified their games and become more innovative in their shot selection and how they rotate the strike to relieve pressure, West Indies have not seemed to pick up any of those little trinkets along the way. It's still the fascination or the obsession with sixes and fours predominantly. I think that's where that comes from. The mentality. Because even when we were going well, like remember the game that we watched at the Oval last year between West Indies and it was New Zealand? When I said you look at them for jogging from crease to crease.
Yeah.
There was no urgency nor intensity in their running. And I don't know how you fix this. I don't know how you fix this. Like you said about people would talk about drop this body, and I'm at the point after today's result that I don't know who's left to be dropped, who can be brought in. I'm being very serious. I hope that does not sound overly comical, but I'm being very serious. I can't think of who to drop, who to bring in. Where do we go from here? You understand? Actually, I know where we go from here. We need a reboot. We need a proper plan in place and build for, let's say, next decade or something, and target some of the future tournament. I think that would be the right way forward. But I know that's not going to happen. At least I do not believe that. So I know we have our work cut out for us.
But the funny thing is, I go back to that podcast episode that we did that I referenced at the beginning of the show. And I was trying to find, because I know we said it, and I was trying to find the exact episode we found it in. And also in that episode, we mentioned some things, and I was there shaking my head like, it's almost as if we recorded that podcast today. We mentioned how our batting is Sheho with a little Nicholas Puran sprinkle in, and that's it. That proves to be true. Yes, Brandon King got some runs today, but nobody went big with Puran, which I think shows that maybe if someone did, we could have maybe pushed 400 plus. Because Zimbabwe scored 400 today, by the way, and against USA. We also mentioned how our bowling lacks potency aside from Alzari. Again, proven right. How many sides have we bowled out in this tournament? Only Zimbabwe, and we still ended up losing that game, which we can touch on a bit. Like these are things that we talked about a year ago, and then you have to ask yourself, was anything done since then to really address it? But yet you're hearing Darren Sammy community media and She-Hulk community media and say, yeah, we know what we gotta do, blah blah blah. Yeah, what we gotta do is but a flag about home West Indies. Because at the end of the day, there is no way that I try to work it out in my head, Andrew. Right now, I think if Sri Lanka beat Scotland tomorrow, which is obviously gonna happen, we play Sri Lanka on Friday. Which means we can eventually be out by Friday because I can't see we beating Sri Lanka with that spin attack. But even if by some miracle we beat Sri Lanka and we win our 3 games, that puts us on 6 points. We are literally begging Zimbabwe to lose at least 2 of their games, preferably all. And that's not going to happen. Zimbabwe at home, they would definitely beat Oman and they would definitely beat Scotland.
Yeah.
So that's why I have West Indies hopes hanging by a thread. But you're right. Maybe I should have just titled it West Indies should just come now home
They
because we
should,
have no a prayer.
you know, it's like it's like
Frustrating.
it's like if you play a group phase and you're scheduled to play 4 games and you've already lost the first 3, but you need to play the fourth one because it's in the schedule. But there's really nothing. Okay, no.
It's true. It's true.
Listen, I'm being
It
so
is
serious.
so true.
Unless low rainfall, right, and rain out some of the other games, so people can't get points. I don't know, but
Honestly, in my Twitter meltdown today, I was just saying, look, forget your Super Six and just come home. Because it made no sense. It literally makes no sense. It was bad after Zimbabwe, but now we have really shot ourselves in the foot with this result. It is crazy.
yeah,
So
and
you wanted to go to Zimbabwe. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
sorry. The thing is that they really hoodwink all of us that watch the game today because we 374, right? I felt as though okay, we're good. That's a nice batting response, right? And as I told you I think we have previewed the tournament. I remember you said that you were confident our bowling is good enough that I could put in a challenge or keep us competitive.
You
And I
batting.
said to you, I was more worried about the batting than the. I was more worried about the batting. Batting was my concern because, as you mentioned, I felt that Shea Hope and Nicholas Poran will have to score runs in every game for us to got a chance because they can't see any other areas of the 11 that runs are going to come from consistently. But today's result proved that the batting is a case for concern. Sorry, a cause for concern or whatever. And the bowling is also equally a cause of concern. And even when the bowling has done well, like against Zimbabwe, where Azari Holder created a lot of wicket taking opportunities, our fielding is letting us down as well. So, like, I don't know. It's like a boxer fighting with one hand tied behind the back. You know?
One hand or both? Because at this point, it ain't really feel like we fighting with any hands. I mean, you mentioned Zimbabwe, right? And yeah, you're upset about the Netherlands. But we were equally pissed off at Zimbabwe. Even though Zimbabwe are a full member nation. Zimbabwe game was so bad on so many levels. Because you drop their best player. Everybody knows Sikandar Raza is Zimbabwe's best player. You drop the man not once, but twice in single digits. And then allow the man to stitch together the innings and make 67. But then even when Raza get home, it was still something for 7. That was the only time I got it. I was like, wow, this is really good stuff in West Indies. Just
Mhm.
close all the innings. Close all the innings. West Indies had other ideas. West Indies had other ideas, Andrew. West Indies had other ideas which involved conceded 40 plus more runs to Zimbabwe, get the crowd up, feeling the momentum. You know they already hate me and want me to lose already. You give them a good target to bowl at and know that all they gotta do is put me under a little pressure and we can crumble. And so said, so done. I felt like we were in control of the chase till Puran got out. Puran's decision was dodgy. There's no DRS, whatever. But when Puran get out, I think it was 175 for 5 at that stage. You had, and I think Rovman come in and went because he's had a poor World Cup qualifiers, especially as a vice captain. So when he got out, I think it was 180, 190 for six. You had Jason Holder, you had Boston Chase at the crease. Just 70 odd more runs to get. Two capable batsmen with test centuries, batsmen that know to hold their own. Sensible cricket, right, Andrew? Again, I say it's how other ideas.
I would figure
Boston
sensible
Chase,
cricket.
yeah, you will figure, right?
Yeah.
Boston Chase went cutting the ball that he should be cutting. Jason Holder tried this cute shot down to third man. Don't get me started on Kimo Paul reverse sweep, especially when he know the crowd hit here already. Like, where is the thinking? Where is the thinking?
But it's not only that. You know the bad thing about it too is that we would have just seen. I think you watched it as well. I did. The first Ashes test between England and Australia. I can't remember who was the dismissal right now, but I know Pat Cummins and Nathan Leon were at the crease, and Australia still needed 50 odd more runs to get with two wickets in hand,
52 to be
and
exact.
and they got there, right?
On the fifth day, I
Because
think it was the fifth day, right?
yes, it was the 50.
So on the fifth day wicket, England with the tails up, with the whole baseball frenzy, crowd behind them. Everything start against Australia to lose. And what did they do, Andrew?
They
Tell me what
played
they do.
sensible cricket and quietly accumulated the runs, and then just like that, the pressure switched on England, and Australia got home. You know, I have taken a 1-0 lead in the series, and I'm like similar thoughts to you, similar sentiments. I felt as though sensible cricket here, and the way we batted it, right, it was almost as if we had more runs to get than deliveries left. You know,
Exactly.
if I did not,
Yeah.
if there was no scorecard available, I would have thought that we had to get, let's say, 80 odd off of 50 or 40
Yeah.
or something like that. Because they
Mhm.
like someone needs to tell the West Indies batsmen, right, that the way to alleviate pressure is not always to hit a boundary or six. Sometimes the way to alleviate pressure, sometimes it's just keeping your wicket intact for over or two,
Exactly.
settling yourself down, coming up with a game plan. You know, cricket is a fluid game. Can change in a split moment. Oh my goodness. Like you said, Jason Holder, no need to play that shot at that stage. Got it completely wrong. Edge it behind the keeper. Who's
I think
next?
he got similarly today too.
Oh, I didn't see his dismissal there. But then you had Kimo Paul. The first ball Kimo Paul faced, he reverse sweep and he got the ball cheekily, very very cheekily alone down to a man for a single. And I'm like, okay. I mean, remember I told you that I had never really seen him play, right? So I was like, okay, well, risky shot, but okay, got away with it. The next ball come back, my man do it again, get LBW. I said, Lord have mercy. Well. And then Ross and
Yeah.
Chase, a ball just to say off stump that I would say kept a fraction low to me, at least. And he tries a very, very lazy cut shot. His feet did not move at all. So if you want to cut the ball from there, which you should not do in the first place, but you would need to take a step back to the leg side and give yourself some room, buddy.
You know what's funny, right? You know what's funny? One thing West Indies don't seem to realize is that cricket is as much a mental game as it is a physical one. What's funny to me is that I watched, as I tell you, I got up and I saw that Puran was nearing 100, so I turned it on. At that point, I think Kimo Paul was about 10 or so. Kimo Paul proceeded to make 46 not out. In those 36 runs, Andrew, I see Kimo Paul play a reverse sweep yet. But you know what happened? That crowd was in his head because
Yeah,
they have been jeering him all tournament. They were jeering him all game, and he let that crowd get in his head.
the crowd and
In
the
that
players.
Zimbabwe
And the
game.
players. 'Cause
Yeah.
when he got dismissed, it was a little bit of afters between the boy that dismissed him. I remember I wasn't aware of the background you filled me in.
The incident.
But like I was like, wait, something happened. Because that seemed a bit more fiery than usual. Yeah, it was almost like a Tino Best moment. I don't mind the windows. Yeah, well. Sorry, I could not resist that reference. I apologize.
Oh my gosh.
That was too funny. That was too funny. Remember that game, right? Mind the windows, Tino.
I cannot.
I next ball, Tino ball trying to slug and get his stump uprooted.
But
Too funny.
we just let opposition teams and players and crowds get in our head too easily. Too easily. And I and then again, like I tell you a few minutes ago, you hear Darren Sammy after the press conference saying all the right things and positive that there'll be a reaction against the Netherlands. Well, if this game is the reaction to losing to Zimbabwe, good gosh, I want to see the reaction to today against Sri Lanka because we just getting worse. Our bowling was so much trash. Our
Like I said,
fielding was so much trash.
you mentioned something I didn't touch on before. You mentioned as well that when we have teams under pressure and we have a window of opportunity to really capitalize and drive our superiority home, we don't ever seem to be able to capitalize. And
Mm-hmm.
that has always been the case. And it seems like as though it's continuing. We do it, we just don't for every reason. Whether it's sometimes the captain not bowling the correct bowler for to maintain the pressure or get the breakthrough or leaving it a bit too long. Whether it's that fielders making mistakes in the field, whatever the case may be. We never seem to be able to be ruthless and really
Yeah.
just get teams out and really like slam it home. It always seems as if the tail is wag a bit against us. I add a
Yep.
bit more runs than ought should have been added.
We saw that in the USA game too. They were like 100
Yeah,
and something for 7 and still managed to get to 2 something. And at that point, I was at first because those things happen. The man scored 100. He ain't got nothing to lose. He can just be slugging all over the pitch. Fine. But still, drive home the advantage. We have no idea how to do that. None whatsoever.
but that wasn't what worried me about. Well, okay, what you said is true, and I agree with you completely. But I also found it in the USA game because, as I mentioned to a friend of mine a couple of days ago, to me we didn't win that game as convincingly as we should have, and I felt as though as that was happening, because we felt as though the game was already won and it was too much of a mountain for the USA to claim. We seemed to be a bit casual and lackadaisical in the field,
Yeah.
and those things bother me,
Yep.
especially for a team who's not. I don't know. I think, like I said, I think like you said, the associate nations, whether it
Mm-hmm.
be Afghanistan, Netherlands, um, Scotland, Ireland, doesn't really matter. It seems as if a lot of those teams have closed the gap on the West Indies. Not seems, it's reality. Whenever we play those teams now, I can't like say, well, that's a surefire win. We can't be sure.
Mm-hmm.
And we
It's
know that
true.
cricket is a game where sometimes upsets do happen. But I want our viewers to understand that these instances can no longer be considered as just simple, upsets. This
Yeah.
is a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much in our game right now,
There's a
where we
standard.
can lose
Mm-hmm.
against associate members teams, and we can lose having done one half of the game correctly or reasonably
Yep.
well. Because
Yep.
374, and I go back to 374, is a very, very defendable total. Very, very defendable. And yeah, they are. I don't want to be too scathing, but
Oh, please be scathing. Listen to time to hold back.
because I don't watch enough West Indies cricket anymore. I've only recently
Mm,
resumed. I don't want to be too scathing because my next
mm,
line or my next comment gonna be that I don't feel these guys are fit enough to wear the shirt based on these performances. But I don't
mm,
want to go that far. I really don't. I don't want to be that scathing, right? Because I know that they are victims of circumstances. Our cricket, we said it
mm,
before, our developmental game, for example, is not the best. So how can we
mm.
expect them to compete with people who are, being developed in the right way at a more consistent level and higher level as well? So I don't want to go that far. But
Yeah,
I did make a
but
realization. I did make a realization. And before I
mm-hmm,
give it back to you, I'm going to let you know the realization. Because I don't know what I'm going to take from this qualifying tournament. I don't know what the players will take. I don't know what the staff will take, what the administration will take. Goodness gracious, I hope that they don't come back with another investigation like they did for the T20. Because I don't know how many investigations, how many reports you need to write.
oh my
Anyhow,
gosh.
I found it. I know seriously, I discovered something today that pleases me to a certain extent. I didn't think it was no longer. I didn't think it was possible anymore. I thought it was no longer possible. But ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Catwell still has the ability to get riled up and passionate about West Indies cricket. Because seriously,
That's so true. Yeah.
I was throwing a rant, I even vexed, I was talking extra fast. I was like, what the hell? My head felt like it was about to explode. You don't understand, Marissa.
This man messaged me. He was a good morning. He might just
My
say,
apologies.
I am watching and I am fuming. I was like, well, good morning to you too. You had me good though. You had me good. I was just there quietly upset, but I could tell for the other line that you was just,
I was
could
vexed.
tell.
You would think Liverpool were playing. That how upset I was. I was so vexed. And my colleagues
Oh my gosh.
Andre never said this to you before. They didn't want to say it. I just so upset because I hate foolishness.
Yeah.
And especially on the back of losing to Zimbabwe in the manner that we did.
Yeah. That makes it worse. Yeah.
Especially, and to be honest, let me just be real. The World Cup is in October in India. And I can watch the World Cup regardless. Or I can follow it.
Me too, of course.
But I want the West Indies to be there. Even if it means that all I could do come October is cast them again fresh. I want the West Indies to be there. You know? 2-time former world champions.
It is bad enough that we didn't get through the qualifying round for the T20s, but for a 50-over World Cup, like for as long as we've been alive, West Indies have played in every single 50-over World Cup. Yep. Like this is a new low, and even though you felt it coming, it's the manner, Andrew. Like honestly, right? Real talk, I would have feel better we get knock over for 225, 250 today, and Netherlands chase it down. But not get pummeled for 300 balls, for 375 runs, then get pummeled for 30 more runs in a super over. Netherlands score 405 runs against us today, Andrew.
But do you think, right? Do you think, or this is the thing I should say, like you said, we were given a lifeline because to me, Netherlands should have won that game we lost over. We got a tie, and then you come and toss the ball. With all due respect, you toss the ball to Jason Holder, who is not especially quick. Oh my goodness!
Not a good death bowler. Period.
Exactly what is he going to do? You know.
You want to hear something? Let me look at the Netherlands side, because we should say quite to Netherlands, they play really well, whatever. But West Indies were trash. Let's just face it. But look at Netherlands. The man that scored 100 for the Netherlands didn't bat in super over. You know who batted in super over? The man that got them the tie. That's who batted in the super over. You know who bowled in the super over? You see a man that get them the tie and bat in the super over and slam Jason Holder for 30. Make it make sense why Alzari Joseph did not bowl that final over. You know what? You talk about there should be no more investigations. There needs to be an investigation into that. Because for the life of me, I do not understand it.
Listen, if you rate an investigation just over 6 months ago, I'm pretty sure they nothing else for you to say. Well, if you learn that from the last 6 months, what are you going to learn now? We don't need a new investigation. We already know what the problem is, right?
Nah, I was concerned because that question.
I'm like, because the decision to give Jason Holder the ball, the decision to in the super over to send out Shea Hope and Johnson Charles, was it the captain? Was it the captain in conjunction with the coach that made those decisions? But they were very, very bad. I can't even say that.
Trust decision making.
I can't even say that it cost us the game. I think a lot of things over the course cost us the game. Or our fielding is really, really shambolic though.
Jeez, no, brothers. More drop catches today, poor fielding. And that's the thing. You made a point earlier that I didn't respond to, but you were right. When you see us getting locks against teams that we beat, let me say beat it. My it's got me using poor grammar and all. But anyways, when you see us locks in the field against the teams that we beat, and because we felt the game was in the bag, those things trickled in to the other games. That's why Nepal, USA, Zimbabwe, and Netherlands, all four of those games, our fielding was awful. We dropped 5 catches against Zimbabwe. 5. Two of which was their best batsman. Then again today we dropped the guy that eventually made a century. I didn't know who else was a drop catch. But again, I see in Netherlands hitting balls to long on and running two. Hitting balls to deep mid wicket when the ball ever traveling that slowly. Sorry. And running two. Explain to me, Andrew. Explain to me why you can look at our fielding and see that it has been trashed for 1 game and you don't fix it. 2 games and you don't fix it. 3 games. When you pointed out in a press conference that it was a key reason we lost the game, and still you come and do this against the Netherlands in the field?
But not only that,
Unacceptable.
right? Something that you also have a problem with our feeling as well. Because again, before the sixes and the boundaries really started to flow, as and Netherlands started to accumulate runs in quickly. The commentator mentioned, and it's so true. And again, because cricket is a game of you need triggers, and when teams are going well, our fielding side has a tendency, right? Or even in moments when we are on top, we have a tendency to let the game drift. And you feel like those, the two that you said, why was Shea Hope not telling the guys let's get together? There's no energetic, maverick type of fielder in our lineup. To me, that was like, jaying up the guys and trying to get behind them and telling them, well, let's go. I didn't see any clapping.
Yeah.
I didn't see any shouting. Nobody cares about whether we win or lose. Nobody wants to, have a go at someone else. Like you just drop the catch, my man. Do a Salma bend, but on your own players.
Big
like goodness
man.
gracious.
But you know what was funny too? In the last over, the guy hit the ball down to long on. And actually, I just remember something. You remember the ball that I tell you that the man hit the ball to long on and run to, right? It was Jason Holder bowling, Azari Joseph fielding. I heard Jason Holder in some Hoffer, come on, Zari, exasperatedly, right? Because they got to. Azari Joseph is bowling the last over. Jason Holder is at long on. You know the game run 2. And by the way, this is the second last ball. They needed 3 from 2 at that point. You needed to restrict to a single, so they needed at least 2 of the last ball. Azari bowling, the ball goes to Jason Holder. The reverse of what happened, but yet it's a result. He exasperated with Azari for allowing 2, and he does the same thing, throwing the ball at the wrong end. The ball was supposed to go to Azari Joseph, so Azari Joseph probably had a better chance to effect the run out. Because, Andrew, we all do physics. It's easier for Jason Holder to throw the ball with pace to Azari at striker at the baller's end than to try to get the ball all the way to Shea Hope at pace to run out a man. Make it make sense.
Well, we can't. What do you think? You can only make something make sense if it actually does. that's the thing, So, in conclusion, it doesn't make any sense because we can't make it make sense because it doesn't make any sense. A lot of things make no sense with the West Indies cricket and West Indies team.
I can let you know now, though. I will not be watching a ball in the Super 6. I'll be following on Cricket 4, but I will not be watching a ball. I will not. I refuse to. You could watch and tell me. I ain't watching nothing. Nothing.
I don't know if I'm going to
The only time I can watch is if I see Zimbabwe lose at least 2 games, and then we got some hope. But other than that, I ain't watching a ball. I ain't put myself through that.
And like you said, who are the Zimbabwe? Who are the other 3 teams that qualify for the Super 6 from the other group? Is Scotland,
Oman, Scotland, and Zimbabwe. And Sri Lanka, sorry.
Sri Lanka. Zimbabwe, maybe Sri Lanka could beat them, but I can't see them losing to Scotland. I can't see them losing to Scotland, though, and I can't see them losing to Oman. I've never seen Oman play, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure Zimbabwe will win that game, especially at home.
I'm pretty sure, too, especially at home. So we in trouble. We are in trouble. So why should I put myself through it? Why should I put myself through it? And you know what I can't wait for, Andrew? The inevitable sat down at me. Sat Sheho, Sat this. Because a year ago when we were talking about this, everybody was Sat Phil Simmons, Sat Pollard, Sat Puran, Sat this buddy. But we ain't got a different coach and a different captain, and you see the cycles repeating. When will people get that is not a personnel issue? That personnel should have won today. But West Indies' problems are bigger than just the players.
What I would say about anybody who wants to talk about Sat Darren Sammy, that's not the answer, and that should not happen because he inherited a team that was underperforming or performing lower to the, you know.
I remember, as we said, he didn't even help pick this squad.
Exactly, because he just came. So my whole thing, remember I said to you, I think I said to you, in our last time we talked about cricket, maybe I said to you, if we're successful, which means that we qualify for the tournament itself, it's not down to Darren Sammy. And if we lose, it's not down to Darren Sammy.
It's true.
And when we were talking about Darren Sammy's appointment, we both said that the biggest thing that Darren Sammy can give this team is maybe a bit of his personality, which is a never give up, never die attitude. Clearly, though, it's going to take a bit of time. Seriously, clearly it's going to take a bit of time. Because the one thing that I would say about Darren Sammy, which I think that don't know him personally or what's like, I saw him once though in real life. Well, I mean outside of cricket. But the point is, the one thing that I would say about Darren Sammy, when he was a fielder, he was one of our better fielders. He was really good in the field. And I think the one thing that I would say Darren Sammy had as a fielder was intensity. You know, he never cheated you for effort. And West Indies, that's the biggest indictment that I can give to you today. And against Zimbabwe. And even against America when I watched you guys field. You were cheating me for effort. I don't know if the sun is hotter in Africa than it is in Caribbean. But you were cheating me for effort. You look completely disinterested at times. In fielding and restricting people to dot balls or you know what I mean? Like it was crazy. It really was.
Yeah.
And like you said, you're not going to watch the rest of the Super 6 when it begins properly. I will peep at it here and there probably because it will be on my TV in the living room. I'll probably peep at it occasionally. If I have the time, if I remember it, I will probably watch a bit of it as well. But I'm not expecting us to qualify from here. I think it's curtains. Come on back home. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah, boys, come home. You know, like how when somebody time a really good shot and it headed to the boundary, Nasser Hussain got this saying, save your legs, that going for 4. Save your legs, West Indies. Save your legs. Just come. Just come home. Just come home.
I don't know, man. It's just embarrassment after embarrassment.
Yeah.
You said before.
So any final words? This was actually, I feel so much better. This is one of my uncles tell me, because I was telling him about, man, like this podcast ain't going good, you know. I mean, all my teams like in the mud. And he said, nah, man, it's good therapy. It really is good therapy, to be honest. I feel so much. I feel like a weight has been lifted.
It allows you to cleanse, you know?
Yes, it's true. It's true. Purge all that negative energy, for sure.
Yeah, so for me, if any final words, I thank the West Indies for providing me with some good entertainment. They allowed me to discover something that about myself, a fire that I thought was no longer there. Seems that I'm still somewhat passionate as a West Indian cricket fan. You know, I really thought, you know, that had evaporated. I thought all of that just was gone, really. So I'm happy to see that I still have a bit of something left. But if I want to live a long and productive life, I don't know how much of it I can actually utilize. But I'm going to leave the final word to you.
Final words. Not surprising, just frustrated. Honestly, just really frustrated with the West Indies' efforts in this qualifier tournament, especially the last 2 games. And I don't know. I don't know where we go from here, to be honest. I know all the articles going to be coming out. I know all the custodians going to be coming from media outlets and stuff. What are you saying, Fife? Oh, you raising your hand?
Yeah, I wanted to chime in. You don't know where to go from here? To Harare Airport. Catch your flight back to Caribbean. Now where you're supposed to go. Harare Airport,
I
man.
cannot with you. I
If
cannot
that's
with
if
you.
that
I
is what
cannot
it's
with
called,
you.
I'm not sure.
I cannot with you. I cannot with you. You're not wrong though. You're not wrong. But on a serious note though, I don't know where our cricket goes from here. India coming. Oh
Oh Lord.
gosh. India coming. England coming. Christmas time.
And
I
another
know
thing
boy
too,
Andrew.
right?
Mm.
And I'm gonna lambast the Indian Cricket Association and the ECBF to do this. I have
Mm-hmm.
noticed that because our cricket is so bad these
Poor.
days and mediocre and
Mm-hmm.
uncompetitive, I've noticed that a lot of these better teams are sending, a lot of mixed squads and hello, I want to see Virat Kohli. I want to see the
Yeah, he
best that when I
coming.
got. We coming? Perfect.
They pick a strong squad.
Good.
Yeah.
Because they got a habit nowadays that they're sending the best players to play the best in these. And hello,
Yeah.
I can't get to India to watch Test cricket or one day cricket. All right, you know what I mean? So when they come,
Yeah.
bring one of the proper teams, please.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that when
We're
we're winning a
coming.
test in 3 days or what's not. That's besides the point.
Or 2.5.
Exactly.
Oh gosh. Anyways, that's it for me. Yeah, that's it for me. I'm just really frustrated with the boys. Rally Ronnie West Indies is a great anthem, but really and truly, I ain't feel like rallying much right now. But I do wish them the best in next 3 games. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I don't know what to say. But you want to close out the show? I, I bordering on depression though.
Now you're gonna be good.
Yeah, man, I know. So thank you for joining us for our first live show. Um, and for those of you who will rewatch the broadcast, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed our therapy cleanse. I'm hoping that we won't need to do another one of these, like for a sort of our vacation for nonsense. But it's been good fun, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it too. And we'll see you again next time. Can't even say next season, just next time.
Just next time.
Yeah.